Welcome to this week's edition of Stu Basement Tapes. I'm Laura Brown.
And I'm Carissa Donkin. Today we're filming our show from Fredericton's brand new convention center. It's so new it's still under construction, which is why you hear some noise in the background.
It's been 6 years in the making, and finally last month the convention center opened for the first time. It's home to Fredericton's only escalator.
But before we get carried away on the escalator, let's take a look at what's coming up in today's show.
New Brunswick Community College is opening its doors on the UNB campus. But how will this affect parking for STU students?
We'll look into the costs of attending university.
And we'll get to know Rosa, an orphan calf who is now having fun on the farm with her adoptive mother.
First, let's take a look at an issue that's got a lot of Canadians angry: metered internet. Since this story is still developing, we've got our reporter Alex Kress here to update us. Alex?
The federal government is stepping in after close to 500,000 Canadians spoke up for their right to unlimited internet access. Industry Minister Tony Clement announced earlier this month the Tories plan to overturn the CRTC's decision to enforce usage-based billing on independent service providers. The CRTC's decision will be delayed until May 1st while the government assesses its impact.
Sometimes you don't just want to read about something, you want to see it. Like watching history unfold in Egypt, for instance. But not all viewers watch on TV. Some stream their news online. Their ability to do so was recently threatened by the CRTC, or Canadian Radio Television Telecommunications Commission. The CRTC was planning to force independent service providers to bill users based on how much time they spend online starting March 1st. Christian Hapgood is one of over 420,000 outraged Canadians who signed a petition called Stop the Meter. He loves streaming rock climbing videos on Vimeo.
I hope that it's going to get overturned fully, and I think that's where it's going to go, mainly because so many Canadians feel so strongly about it.
Dan Hurley is in charge of technology at St. Thomas University. He says the CRTC controversy has been blown out of proportion. Usage-based billing won't affect New Brunswick universities because they operate as their own service provider.
I think there has been a bit of an emotional reaction to it, and I think there's a bit of a libertarian streak on the internet about, like, don't manage my traffic, I should be able to do what I want when I want.
The Atlantic internet market is run by Bell, Shaw, and Rogers, with few independent service providers. That means most people who stay within their usage limits won't have to dig deeper into their pockets. For STU Journalism, I'm Alex Kress.
And now we go back to campus for a story where the new community college is almost finished. But some students are wondering where they're going to park. Sean O'Neill has more on the story.
Chris Smith is a third-year criminology and psychology student at St. Thomas. He lives in New Maryland and can spend as much as 20 minutes driving to campus. With tuition, he pays $75 for a bus pass that he doesn't use, and $80 for battling for a parking spot by Vanier Hall or the Aiken Center.
It's kind of unorganized up there. I've seen a lot of triple lane parking, and I've even seen 5-lane parking where like 3 people were boxed in. And this morning at Vanier, in the first row, I saw triple lane parking this morning too.
The parking problem is about to get tighter. STU estimates that there are just over 1,000 general parking spots shared between it and UNB. And the New Brunswick Community College is nearing completion on campus. The $15 million building is on schedule to be completed in March and to begin classes in September. The building can hold up to 400 students. With the new school opening in September, Smith knows what's going to happen with parking by the Aiken Center.
Aiken Center is going to be gone. Like up there, you're not going to get a spot. Like that was my safe spot for the past 2 years. And
the president and CEO of NBCC, Marilyn Luscombe, says that there is no money in its budget to increase parking. However, she says they will cooperate with the university and the provincial government if issues arise.
I think we've got a significant parking here. We may still have some challenges with it, but I think at the same time that we're working on those challenges, we have to work towards a more environmentally friendly college.
For STU Journalism, I'm Sean O'Neill.
How happy do you think your friends are? As Shane McGee reports, you may think they're happier than they really are, especially if they're using Facebook.
For some people, like Elizabeth Fraser, Facebook has become addictive. Fraser says it began for her in 2007 when a friend suggested she join the social network.
As time developed or went on, I just couldn't stop looking at pictures or seeing what people were doing, and it's just so addicting.
Fraser is one of 600 million people who use the website, but she says there is a dark side.
I go on Facebook and I see all these pictures of my friends back home and what they're doing and how they look, and I'm just like, wow, they look really good, and look at what they're doing with their lives, and I'm here at home not doing anything that great. I'm in my room checking Facebook and looking at their pictures, you know.
Fraser isn't alone in her experience. A study published this year from Stanford University found people overestimate how happy their friends are. The study was led by Alex Jordan. He noticed his friends felt similar to Fraser when using Facebook. Part of the study had 140 university students write down the good and bad experiences in their lives.
The students in the study recorded how they actually felt, while their close friends recorded what they thought their friends were feeling. In some cases, they were even dating. What's most surprising is that even though these two people knew each other quite well, they were often overestimating the happiness of their close friend. In interviews, the authors of the study have said that people using social networks may feel worse because they think their friends are living better lives than they really are. This is because people tend not to post the negative aspects of their lives online. For Stu Journalism, I'm Shane McGee.
Coming up after the break, we'll take a look at education in New Brunswick, from high school to university. Stay with us. Welcome back. Laura, have you noticed all the great artwork in the convention center?
I know, the building's filled with it. And now we have the first of two education stories. Moncton High School students have been left in the dark after the city's oldest high school shut down unexpectedly. Education Minister Jody Carr announced February 15th the fate of the students. Samantha McGee has more on the story.
I'm here at Moncton High, the city's oldest high school. It was closed earlier at the beginning of this school year due to health and safety concerns. Students were notified just hours before their big annual homecoming football game that their school would be temporarily shutting down. Teachers had concerns that the building was causing them respiratory problems. Since then, more than 1,200 students have been displaced and are now attending various schools in the city. Plans are being discussed on how to best accommodate the student body, and it's unclear now if the district will repair Moncton High and reopen it, or if they will continue shuffling students between crowded schools. District Education Chairman Harry Doyle has already made his recommendation. He says they should tear down the 76-year-old building and construct a new one in its place. However, there is a petition urging Monctonians and Moncton High School alumni to help save the Moncton High School and classify it as a heritage building. This would keep it from being destroyed. For Stu Journalism, I'm Samantha McGee.
High school students aren't alone in school worries. Last week, the St. Thomas University Students' Union held a week of action, calling on the provincial government to eliminate what they're calling a debt sentence. New Brunswick has the second highest tuition fees in the country, and as Stephanie Kelly reports, some students want that to change.
What's your number? This is the question the STU Students' Union has been asking for the past week. Your number is how much debt you have as a student. On average, Maritime University grads will end up with $37,000 in debt. Even with a scholarship, Elizabeth Sullivan's number is $18,000. When she graduates this spring, she plans to teach English in Japan to pay off this debt. Sullivan looks at her debt through a different lens.
When you go and you ask for money, you feel super guilty about it. Like you know that your parents don't really have the money, but they're going to give it to you anyway because you're their parents. But is that something that you really want to do?
During the week of action, the Students' Union held events on and off campus. Students signed postcards, voiced their concerns at a provincial budget meeting, and over 50 attended a teach-in. The union is worried government funding will go down and tuition will go up.
And I can tell you that one of the major reasons why we see so many people leaving this region is because of student debt. We know for a fact that students with high levels of debt are the most likely to leave to go find work elsewhere.
We spoke with the Department of Post-Secondary Education, who said they plan to work with university presidents to create a 4-year funding model. This doesn't mean universities will receive more money, but they will know 4 years in advance how much they will be receiving from the provincial government. helping university students map out their tuition costs. For Stu Journalism, I'm Stephanie Kelly.
Students interested in what's going on in the news can keep up on their e-readers. The first newspaper specifically designed for this technology has been released. It's called The Daily and has already caused some issues among users. Kaylin Bean is ready to tell us more. Kaylin, what are the hopes for this newspaper?
Well, Laura, there was a lot of hype for this new application. While newspapers like the New York Times have been available on e-readers for a while now, this was supposed to give people a new way to experience the news on e-readers.
So what are the complaints about this new application?
Well, people are saying that it's really slow, and there are a lot of frustrations because of crashes from bugs that haven't been worked out yet. Apparently people were promised frequent story updates, and that hasn't happened. Even the technology expert for the Houston Chronicle calls it the most frustrating news product he's ever used.
But the price is affordable, isn't it?
Yes, it is. A yearly subscription is about $40, and there's a 2-week trial period where the user doesn't have to pay at all. Compare that to the Kindle edition of the New York Times that costs about $340 a year, and it seems pretty reasonable.
Thanks, Kaylin.
Thank you, Laura.
Students about to graduate have one thing on their mind: finding a job. New Brunswick's information technology industry has a problem. There are more than 300 jobs in the province and no one to fill them, even though they're among the best paying jobs in the province. Leanne Osmond has this story.
Ray Harris loves to go fast. The 20-year-old student has been speed skating for 11 years. Off the ice, he's working on a business and computer science degree at the University of New Brunswick. He says one of the problems students have coming out of university is that they are missing some qualifications like teamwork.
You go to like English classes or psych courses or even administration courses, and they're heavily based on teamwork or group discussion at a higher level. Classes in computer science want nothing to do with group discussion. They don't want anything to do with teamwork. I think in the full computer science degree, you might have 3 classes where you have to work in a team, and one of them is a team of 2.
Teamwork is what PQA is looking for. They are a Fredericton-based company that tests software for clients across the world. The CEO says companies are now looking for team players and creative thinkers. But there's another problem attracting students to study IT. Many of them think it's for geeks.
The big part of it is how do you, if you're going to create interesting products and interesting ideas, it's the collaboration, it's the sharing of ideas. So it really isn't sitting in the closet by yourself.
While UNB can take twice the students, they're having trouble attracting them to the university. Ray Harris thinks they are not promoting the program effectively.
Promote the money, promote the job opportunities, and then work at changing your program and promoting a program change where you encourage people to be social.
The Dean of Computer Science says the university is working to improve the program by allowing students to take other subjects with computer science, like biology or music. He hopes this will fill some of the empty seats in classrooms like this. For Stu Journalism, I'm Leanne Osmond.
Stay tuned, because after the break, we have a story about a holiday men usually dread: Valentine's Day.
Welcome back. Farming may seem like the simple life, but it's more complicated than you think. When an animal dies, it hurts more than just business. Alyssa Mosier tells us the story of one orphaned baby cow.
Losing her mother wasn't easy for baby Rosa. Her owner, Andy Atchison, had to bottle feed the calf at least 3 times a day. He frantically looked for a new mother for the young calf.
You want the calf on a real cow so she'll get the proper nutrients out of the real milk. And also it helps us time and work-wise.
It took 2 weeks of asking around and advertising on Kijiji until Andy found this dairy cow close to home. Rosa's new mother cost Andy $400, but in the past he's paid over $6,000 for purebred show cows. Andy says he'd like Rosa to be a show cow too, and her mother's milk helps her live up to her potential. Andy is one of 44 registered purebred breeders in the province who breeds this type of cow, a Hereford. He has around 100 cows on his farm. and most of them are potential show cows that can be worth up to $200,000. Without her new mom, Rosa would never have had a chance to become a star, and Andy would have been up at night feeding her. But Andy says a calf's mother provides more than just milk for perfect breeding.
It'll gain its instincts too, like if she goes on to be a mother herself, being with a cow, she'll have more of the instincts as to what to do. She won't be completely lost when it comes time for her to be in that position.
And Rosa seems grateful. Now she is a happy and healthy little cow. For Stu Journalism, I'm Alyssa Mosier in Wilmot, New Brunswick.
It's been a battle to keep the gun registry in Canada, but in Fredericton, police are taking it one step further. Lauren Bird has the story.
Teenagers in the Fredericton area who own airsoft, BB, and pellet guns like this one should be headed down to the police station soon to have it registered. The registration came into effect after some members of the film crew shooting right here in downtown Fredericton were arrested for using what looked like a real gun. The registration will cost $2, and Sergeant Martin Gaudette says this will provide another piece of important information for the police. When they get a call, they will be able to go to the house and know whether the resident has a real gun or a fake one. For Stu Journalism, I'm Lauren Bird.
Before you go, here's a look at what couples around the city are doing to celebrate their love. Fredericton men felt the pressure this Valentine's Day when looking for the perfect gift. As Jen Bishop reports, some men made their gifts, while others worried about the weight of their wallets.
Chris Scribner is not only writing a Valentine, he's singing one, through a song he wrote especially for his girlfriend.
Girls seem to think if the guy does anything at all, it's fine. Like, it's more of the thought that counts, and what you do you don't have to put too much effort into it.
Chris may have the artistic talent to be creative on Valentine's Day, but some men get anxious over the pressure to open their wallets. A survey by the American Institution of Stress says anxiety levels increase when romantic expectations are high. Mike Erb thinks showing you care shouldn't come in a heart-shaped box.
We don't celebrate Valentine's Day because we don't really find it necessary to have to spend money on each other to show each other that we care about one another. We're like students, we don't really have a whole lot of money to begin with.
According to a Walmart Canada survey, Valentine's Day shoppers spend an average of $50 per gift. However, men spend twice as much as women on this holiday.
Valentine's Day gifts came in many shapes and sizes this year. Some men chose to buy gifts like chocolate and flowers, while others chose activities like eating at a restaurant, going skating at Officers Square, or making memories at the Clay Cafe. For Stu Journalism, I'm Jen Bishop.
Thanks for watching this week's edition of Stu Basement Tapes.
Be sure to check nbbeacon.ca in 2 weeks for another episode. See you later.
Thanks for watching.